Alright, today we have Angel Wars! And Goodwill literally stuck the sticker over the pretty girls. Which are unbiblical, by the way. So even this supposedly biblical board game that's supposed to be Christian themed, based off of a Christian themed cartoon series that they made called Angel Wars. Even the Christian themed decided to have girls in it. For what purpose or what reason, I have no idea. But anyway, it's called Angel Wars. And this is the Angel Wars board game. Easy to learn, difficult to master. So, is it Stratego? Is it a Stratego clone? Let's find out. It also has this Enochian, which looks like Japanese or Chinese or something of that nature on it. It says Angel Wars board game. Play your favorite Angel Wars characters. So you can play as the angels on Team God or the angels on Team Lucifer, I guess. I don't know. I mean, this was a cartoon series, and I maybe seen like one episode. Maybe. Because they had like a DVD or something with something that I saw an episode of. Or I found a VHS tape back in the day. Anyway, this is 2007, so I think they did have DVDs. Anyway, the game includes a game board, 16 characters, and 64 movement tiles. The Angel Wars strategy board game is simple to learn, yet it has a depth of strategy that is fascinating to players of all levels. The game features the excellent art and intriguing characters from the amazing animated series Angel Wars. The game begins with the game tiles set up in checkerboard design. You control the 6 guardian angels. Your opponent controls the 6 demons. Or the 6 messenger angels if if your opponent prefers not to play the demons. So you could have angels versus angels. And demons are only fallen angels, so they're also still angels. Anyway, players take turns moving, following the rules of movement, until one player has successfully moved all of his or her pieces to the opposite sides of the board. However, it's not that simple. You can only move your piece on a tile of matching color. Players flip tiles to match their piece. You must find a way to clear a path for both your blue pieces and your orange pieces, while trying to block your opponent's pieces in the process, offering 2 styles of play. This game is sure to become a favorite among game players of all ages and skill levels. You know what would have made this game 100,000,000% better? They gave us actual miniatures of the angels. And demons. Anyway, without further ado, let's check out this Angel Wars board game. And, well, there was no tape, so there was no need for me to do that. But usually there's tape on these silly games, because Goodwill likes to ruin the games by putting tape all over them most of the time. Come. But in this particular case, they didn't do that. And this was like the only game. I am going to laugh my butt off if this game is basically mint in package because nobody played it. It was done by CactusGamesDesign.com. Damn stuff. I don't know what's under there falling around, but it needs to quit. Whatever is falling around needs to quit. So first up, we got this board. Boardwalk. Now, I already have an Angel Wars game somewhere in my collection of games, so I don't really need to keep this game. So this game will probably be being repurposed, resold, whatever. So you got these tokens, and like I said, they put the tokens. All these tokens go on the board. You got like blue, yellow, and so on and so forth. So you basically are going to be doing this, which is going to take up a whole bunch of setup time, which nobody likes setup time. So what could they have done to improve this game to make it where it wouldn't have all this downtime of setup time? Well, what they could have did is they could have made the tiles on the board already connected to the board, where you could just take your finger and flip them with your finger. You know, just flip. So you'd have a ability to just flip. And I've seen games that have done that. So that's what they should have did. So basically, I've already told you how to improve the game. And what they should have did to improve the game. See, I'm a genius. That's why game companies should hire me. Because I'll make the game 1,000,000% better. Which, if you know the math, that actually means 1,000 times better than they would make it themselves. Actually, I think that's, 10,000 times better. So this is what the game board will look like set up, basically. Then the game comes with all these angels. Angels we have heard on high, sweetly singing o'er the plains. Now, it would have been nice if they would have given us like the title of the names of each one of these angels. It is kind of, I do like, but what would have been better, again, would have been miniatures, actual miniatures, 3D miniatures of each one of these angel figures. I do like how they did front and back, though. Instead of doing generic just front of each angel, they did a front and back of each angel. So that's pretty cool. So that is much appreciated. Much obliged. It's really cool. I like it. I like it a lot. But again, if you haven't seen the show, you don't know who these people are or who these angels are. And that could be, kind of hurt you from playing the game, because you don't know who these angels and demons and whatnot are. You don't know their names. So it would have been, it would have been nice to either have come with a sheet, they may have done that, like a rule book sheet that has each angels we have heard on high, sweetly singing o'er the plains, echoes his majesty and gloria in excelsis Deo. Anyway, like I was saying, it would have been nice to have the names of the angels and the demons, because this means war. Both sides are raging war. The victor secure. So anyway, in this game, each side has each side is supposed to have like 4. Like 3 or 4 good guys and like 3 or 4 bad guys or something. Looks like they gave us some generic angels and then they gave us like some demons. I'm not sure why the angelic forces have 5 angels compared to the bad guys having 6. Oh, okay, I gotcha. There's 6 demons here. Okay. 3 blue, 3 orange. So in this game, it might be a little confusing because you'll have blue and orange pieces. And your blue pieces are only allowed to walk on the blue pieces. And your yellow pieces are only allowed to walk on the yellow pieces. And basically it's simple where you start on one side and you go to the other side. And that's how you win. You get all your pieces to the other side. From one side to the other side. So there's no actual wars, no actual battles, none of that stuff in this game. You can't eliminate each other. Which kind of sucks because I'm over here like, where's the wars? Where's the battles? Where's the angelic warfare going on in heaven? You can't eliminate one another. That kind of sucks, right? So, to help somewhat reduce that problem, you have these orange or blue tokens so you know that you're playing as the orange or the blue people. So, each turn, what you do for each turn, again, fairly simple, is you basically move your character one space while also flipping one tile on the board. You flip a tile, any tile on the board, and also, unlike your guys being here and their guys being there, one side is actually going to be on this side going that way, while the other one's going to be on this side going that way. So you're going to emerge and intersect with each other every once in a while. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that you block them from going that way, or they block you from going that way, while you're going that way and they're going that way. So, yeah. And that's the game. The Angel game. So, comment down below what you think about this Angel game. Cool? Not cool? It sucks! Yeah, it does suck, because what they should have did, again, is while having all this is a good idea. This is a great idea. They should have also had the tactical miniatures. And then each of the figures should have came with a card, which has like stats for battling and whatnot on it. And then when you do intersect with one another, you would have to battle. Battle fates! And then you would have the battle fates, and that would be additional level of the game. So the object of the game now would be either to eliminate all your enemy player opponents, and they would have some kind of dice or something to roll for the battles. And then your angels would be fighting the demons, or your demons would be fighting the angels, or the other angels would be fighting the other angels. Here's some more games by Cactus Games, by the way. Anyway, yeah. So, to improve the game, you should have made it miniatures. You should have had a battling aspect. You should have still had the strategy aspect. You should have had it where all you had to do was have the board where you could automatically just flip the little tiles like the tic-tac-toe beanbag toss game thing does, where when you hit the thing with the beanbag, it flips the thing. Toss across. Yeah, that's what it's called. Toss across. Anyway, the point is, I'm improving your game. So listen to me, companies, and do what I say. Shh. And your game would be, like, so much better. I'm telling you, see, this is the problem with Christian corporations. They don't want to put violence in their stuff when there's all kinds of violence in the actual Bible. You're trying to avoid violence for the children in your books and TV series and movies and whatnot, right? But the Bible is 100% full of violence. Yay, violence. So to avoid the stuff that you're trying to avoid is whitewashing the Bible. The Bible has all kinds of crazy violence in it. So if you want to improve your Christian books and your Christian movies and your Christian entertainment and your Christian games and whatnot, you're going to have to include the things that you claim are worldly. No, they're not worldly, because if they were worldly, they wouldn't be in the Bible. Yes, to a degree, I guess you could say they're worldly, because the world likes to have violence. But, I mean, you could literally have a Joshua campaign game. Like, you know, like Risk, but you're Joshua. Like Axis and Allies or something. But you play as Joshua and the armies of the Lord versus, like, conquering all the ites. I mean, or you could have a game about you playing as David and his mighty men and his army that's waging the civil war against, Saul and stuff. Come on. This is stuff that actually happened in the Bible. Yet y'all choose intentionally to try to make the most generic, watered down, no violence, no worldly aspects that you think are the world, and then you want the kids to enjoy these games? You want the parents and adults to even enjoy the games? And you do the same thing with the TV shows and the movies and everything. And you wonder why the Christian entertainment industry and stuff doesn't sell. That's why I like Angel Studios. Because Angel Studios ain't afraid to put some violence in their shows. They ain't afraid to put some truth in their shows. They ain't afraid to put some realism in their shows. So, go watch Angel Studio movies. Anyway, that's my little rant about why some of these corporations... This is also why I don't like the Positive TV channel. Because it's supposed to be Christian, but like half the shows are just secular moral value shows. Even though it's supposed to be a Christian channel. And they refuse to talk about Jesus. It's always God. That's another thing I really dislike about Christian movies in general. Y'all try to they say God. Like, okay, we're going to avoid Jesus by talking about God because God and Jesus is the same. Well, only Christians know that. So only true Christians who understand and read their Bible know that God and Jesus are the same. Everybody else who don't believe that are going to be like, oh, okay, God. There's a lot of people who believe in God. They don't believe that God and Jesus are the same. There's a lot of people that believe in God, but they don't believe that the same God is the God of the Bible. You got Jews, they believe in God. You got Muslims, they believe in God. But all of these people who believe in God don't have God and Jesus as the same. You got all these other people who have made their own version of God, and that God isn't necessarily the God of the Bible. So to have a positive show where you're displacing secular moral values, and then you throw in a little bit of God here and there, and maybe throw in one or two scriptures, isn't reaching people for the gospel and the message of Jesus Christ. So, to actually reach people for God through Christ Jesus and spread the gospel, you gotta put realism in your entertainment. I mean, the Bible doesn't beat around the bush and and decide not to show sin. The Bible literally shows sin and the consequences of that sin in the Bible. So why does it do that? Why does God tell you all the bad things about our heroes in the Bible? And doesn't give us heroes and then, like David. Oh, he's a man after God's own heart. A great hero of the Bible, right? But the Bible literally shows every single one of his flaws. Solomon, smartest guy in the freaking world throughout history, according to the Bible. But what does the Bible show? All his daggum flipping flaws. Okay? So the Bible literally shows every single great person of the Bible's flaws. Then it shows the greatest person in the Bible, Jesus, and it shows him tempted by every single flaw that every other great man in the Old Testament was tempted by and failed, and shows him succeeding because Jesus had no flaws, because Jesus was God incarnate and was tempted by every way that man was tempted, yet did not sin, so that he could be the perfect sinless atonement sacrifice for us Christians, for those who are saved, for those who are lost, so that he could seek those which are lost. Yep. So that's why Jesus is perfect sacrifice, because he was perfect. And then he didn't stay dead. He arose and ascended unto the aisle of the right hand throne of God. Yeah. Because he is God. Anyway, have a blessed day, and I hope you enjoyed this Angel Wars board game. Hope you enjoyed my improvements to the Angel Wars board game. And I also hope y'all listen to the rant, and y'all can comment down below what y'all think about it. And I hope you got the gospel, and if you've truly repentant of your heart and the Holy Spirit has led you to accept Jesus Christ as the Lord, I hope you have done so or will do so in the future. Have a blessed day. Later.